Hi there and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Sprite Super Quattro DB. These are basic handover on how to set up and operate the van as if you were coming on or off site. Starting off first, we have your black hitch head here with your black lever. Now you have to have your black lever up to be able to wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow ball. What will happen once it's on, that handle will snap down, push up that red button and expose a green ring. If you don't have air suspension on your car, you can wind your jockey wheel the opposite way to just check that it is on. Handbrake, to disengage it, all you have to do is press down, and to engage it, flick up. But as you can see, they do come up with a fair bit of force, so make sure your head's not in the way. Jockey wheel, this top part is used to level the caravan, and then you have this bottom compartment which is to be able to pull up the jockey wheel whilst travelling. You then have 13-pin electric on the caravan, so if you do have 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. You may lose a couple of features such as ALCO ATC. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back, we have inserts for your legs. Now the caravan itself will come with a leg winder, or you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs. They're simply used for stabilisation. Now we're using test equipment today, so just here I have a red propane gas bottle. Now I'd always recommend propane over butane just because it has a better performance in winter. Connected to it I have this black gas hose which is dated, as you can see there, 2025. These black gas hoses will run for 5 years, so this will take me up to 2030. Now this connects onto this regulator. You hand tighten that as much as you physically can and then just nip it up using a spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight, as that will put pressure on the washer inside, causing it to crack and break. You then have this yellow toggle which needs to be facing down to allow the gas to come through. Once both sides are firmly connected, twist the gas bottle in the positive or open direction. Shut that down for now. Moving along this side, first up, this is an external shower point. Then just here, we have your water pump. Now, the water pump itself, I'm not going to be drawing any water through today, as it is rather cold at the moment and the caravan has been fully drained off. But for the water pump itself, as you can see, to remove it, press in the trigger and pull out the pump itself. So this works on a system with the trigger. You then have this blue cap to go over the top of the arc roll to ensure no nastiness gets in, and then at the bottom we have your strainer. Now it's crucial that the strainer sits at the bottom of the barrel to allow the maximum potential of water to come through and to make sure that no air is getting gas through, which can cause coughs and splutters. Now you can also see that they do have a bit of a tendency to curl up. My recommendation, rather than straighten it out before every use, is to get some PVC piping so it's always straight. And to push this in, all you do there is just like that, and then it can't be removed without pressing in that trigger. Moving along, we have your flue. Your flue is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler when operating on gas. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. Then here we have your battery locker. On this example, it does have a leisure battery fitted, which in this case is with 2 clips on the top, which is being converted, so all you have to do is snap them on and off. Then just next to it, we have your plug-in for your mains. Mains plugs in nice and easy, but it does have this little safety catch on the top. You also have this little point where you can feed through the mains lead, so you can have the locker locked up to allow no one to unplug your mains, essentially. Then here we have 2 points where your wastewater is going to come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to then feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. Then lastly, we have your toilet function. So first up, we have your cassette. To remove your cassette, you press up on the orange handle, pull out towards you. Now you do have to be aware that the toilet itself, the catch has to be in the correct position, which I will show you later on. Now this handle does also extend out and up, so it can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. Now once you're at your emptying point on site, you need to twist this head to the side, then open up this cap. Now this cap is important, and I'll show you in a second why. Then what you want to do is tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually pressing your vent button. Now what I would recommend doing afterwards is opening up this compartment, feeding in some fresh water, shutting it all back up, giving it a shake, and again tilt and vent, just to make it smell a bit nicer. Then on this cap here you have measurements in both imperial and metric, and that is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into there, back onto the cap, twist it to the side, and then press it in so that the orange handle sits behind the white teeth, as then it can't be removed without pressing up the handle. Then just above we have your flush tank. The flush tank itself can hold around 12 litres of water. However, I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10, as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You can also add pink chemical, which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell a bit nicer. Now you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so just up here you've got a little bolt to drain off any remaining water from the flush tank. When you collect the caravan, it will be fully drained off. Then underneath your right hand side bench seat you have first your flow jets, which will pull through the water to the boiler. Now the water will travel through these blue pipes, and then just here you have this yellow switch. That is your drain valve. When it's in the upright position as it is now, that is in drain mode, so any remaining water in the system will be drained out. November to March have that up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan, as any damage caused by frost will not be included from any type of warranty claim, whether that be Swift, extended or our own. So make sure that is up during the colder weather, as you don't want it to freeze over. And then when you do want to come to use it, flick it to the side. Now it can be either side, however you will collect it like this. Just here you have your battery charger, which is this box here. Then you have your trips and fuses. As you can see, all your trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position there. I would also recommend to carry some extra fuses in the van with you as well. Then you can see heating and hot water and charger are both illuminated, showing that they're both active and working. You then have a reverse polarity button here for if you ever go abroad. And then you have a complete system shutdown button. Press that in, nothing inside the caravan is able to operate. You can also pull down this panel for a bit more information on your fuses. And then underneath here you have your boiler. The boiler itself can work on either gas mains or a mixture of both. Then above your door you have these three components here. This keypad is for a tracker, however that is based through a subscription service. Then you have your Swift command board. So this works similar to an iPad, and you can also connect via Bluetooth. Pressing this button here, which is your on button, which you can also press and hold in to completely turn off. It'll tell you the internal and external temperature of the caravan, which it's saying is both 4 degrees. Now that may slightly differ to the Truma panel. You have the humidity, date, time, and the leisure charge. Now with these command boards, I would always recommend having a battery on board, just because these need that extra little bit of voltage for stabilization. So first up we have the pump button. So when I would press that in, a blue border would come around it. What would happen is that the Acrol's water would be drawn from outside through the pump, through the water itself, and to the boiler. I'd recommend waiting about 2 to 3 minutes to allow that to be pulled through. And then what you would do is come over to your tap, open up your tap on both cold and hot, and run it for about 30 seconds. Now, if the system is overly pressurized because it's not being used in a while, you may get a couple of coughs and splutters to start off with, but what you're looking for is a nice steady continuous stream. If it continues to cough and splutter, check your drain valve, make sure the strainer's at the bottom of the barrel, and make sure the Acrol has plenty of water. Next up, awning light. Press this in, yellow border comes on, and you can see awning light is on just there. Press that off. Next up we have internal light. So you have a couple of different types when it comes to lights. You have the individual switch ones, like these. You then have dimmer one, which I press in, and a couple of lights will come on. And then I have dimmer 2, which I press in, and you can see the other lights come on. So I have to press in on the middle of the dial. Now you can also dim the light, so gradually press down and you can see it get a little bit dimmer, and then go up to increase the light. So press down and up, or you can press and hold it. Go back to home, press that button there. Next up, we have power inside the van. So it says 13.1 volts are coming from the leisure battery. Now I'm plugged into mains, so that will be a representation from the actual leisure battery. From the actual mains lead itself. This may also differ in time as well. You then have the solar and the vehicle. They will always show a little amount, even if you're not plugged into the vehicle, and even if there's no solar power coming in. Then go to the side, we have the AC current, and you can also set a limit for that. You then have your radio here, so press this in. Just next to it, you have your actual radio module if you wanted to plug an aux cord in. But you have a couple of different modes, so you either have off, FM, DAB, aux, or off. You can also connect via Bluetooth, and then similar to any sort of radio, you can tune, scan, set your presets, and your volume is just there. You then have some settings just here. Now these are your general settings, so you have time, date, day, screen brightness, screen timeout, which is just when this will fade off when it's not being interacted with, a night mode, key beep. Now what that is when you're pressing a button, it will beep at you, and then you have your Bluetooth pairings. So basic sort of settings, very self-explanatory. And then if I press and hold onto settings, it will take me to advanced settings. Now, we have set this to what we believe is the most user-friendly to use. There's not any tanks or tank heaters fitted, and you can also connect via a couple of different things, like the fridge and the heater. I would not recommend setting that up. The main reason for it, you have the actual control panels for it there, and it can cause them to trip out when you're using two different modules. So you have a couple of options here. If you'd like a little bit more information on the advanced settings, please have a look inside your book pack. But that is the Swift command panel. Then next to it, we have your Truma control panel. So this is for your heating and your hot water. So naturally, this screen will go green when it's not being interacted with in a while. You have a back button here. You then have a dial, which is also your select button when you press in the middle. So I press in the middle, and it comes to this screen. Now, whatever gets selected will show above this line. So first up, I have flashing up the motorhome with the thermometer in, because they also use this panel for motorhomes. Press this in, and this is for the internal temperature of the caravan that you desire. It goes up to a maximum of 30. Press in, and you can now see that the flame has come on there. That's my energy source, and that's the fan speed. So next to it, we have your water heat. So you either have it off, eco, which will get it to 40 degrees, hot, which will get it to 60 degrees, or boost. Now boost will prioritize heating the water itself over heating the actual van. It will do that for around about 30 minutes and then drop it back down to eco afterwards. Next up, we have your energy source. So currently set on gas, which is signified by that. I can use a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatts, so you can see the electric volt, 2 kilowatts and gas, electric with 1 kilowatt, or electric with 2 kilowatts. So we'll select electric 2, and you can see 2 volts come up there. Next, we have fan speed. So we can either have eco or high or boost. Eco is a nice steady stream. High is a bit more vigorous, and boost is prioritizing that over heating the water. It will come out of these vents just here, and it's very similar to the water setting itself. Now, if I don't have any heating on, so that's off, nothing on the top row. And I go over to the fan setting. I either have off or vent. Now what vent does, it circulates the air across the caravan, so it just blows out normal air. Now if it's a nice sunny day, unlike today, you can have all of your windows open and push through some nice fresh air and ventilate it across the caravan. Then on the bottom row, we have first your timer. So you first input the start time of when you'd like the heating and the hot water to come on by selecting the hours, then the minutes, and then you select the end time. So ideal if you're away from the caravan for a fair bit of time. Then you have the correct time. As I've just started up this panel again, it shows 23 minutes past midnight, because that's how long the van's been set up. You just input the correct time, and it is a 24-hour clock. Then next to it, we have the spanner icon, which is your additional settings. So you have offset, temperature, brightness, 12 or 24-hour clock, language, index, or reset. Not going to go through that, as we have set it to, again, the most user-friendly, but please have a look inside your book pack if you'd like more info. Then to turn off this panel, press and hold in. It's now off. Dial doesn't work, and that doesn't work, meaning it is now off completely. Then to turn it back on, you just do the exact same, press and hold in. Then here we have your fridge settings. So fridge itself is currently off. Turn it on, press and hold in on this little grey button that my thumb is over, which you can see there. It's not a physical button itself, this is all a touch screen. Now, I have a couple of different choices for source. I either have that battery symbol, which is only representative of 13-pin electric for when you are towing. It does not mean that you can use the leisure battery. Next to it, I have gas, which I'm currently set on, mains, or auto. I can select through by using this button just here. Press once, goes over to mains. Press again, goes to auto, and auto chooses mains as the best source to use. My usual recommendation is to just keep it on auto, because it will just switch over when necessary. Now when I press it again, it is going to go over to the battery. When it goes to that symbol, you can see it begins to flash up and beep at me, telling me there is a hazard. Then we have the amount of power coming into the fridge. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. That is not a gauge of the temperature, that is a gauge of the amount of power coming in. The more full, the more power, the quicker it's going to chill. Even on full capacity, it takes around 4 hours for the caravan to fully chill. When the fridge is on, there is blue lights on inside. Then press and hold in to turn this off. Fridge is off, no more blue light. Then here we have your gas cooker. Now all of this operates off only gas. My recommendation as well, if you're wanting to have the heating or the fridge on gas, run through all of this first to make sure it's all operating the way it should be. This works standard to any sort of gas cooker you would have at home. Press in the dial, twist it to the side, and press in your igniter. Now it may be a case that the gas will light on and then cut out when you first come to use it. That is standard. That is just the gas making its way through its system. Just reignite them and just check through the hob, grill and cooker. This is what it looks like when the hob's lit. As you can see, all burners nice and lit. Turn it off back to the central position. Same concept for the grill, so let's press that in, twist to the side. You can see both sides nice and lit. Maybe a case that one side will light up and then the other side. And then lastly, we have your oven. So press in the dial, twist it to the side, press your igniter, and you can see that it's now on and lit. Only other real thing to note, if you're traveling with gas bottles and have a gas hose connected, you can have the hose connected to the regulator, but make sure the bottle itself is turned off. And you have to travel with this glass sheet down, as otherwise it's just going to fall over and smack. But don't put it down until all the burners are nice and cold. And lastly, we have your toilet function. So lift up the lid, press in the button here, and you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push around any water inside the system itself. Then to remove your waste, press away on the handle, opens up the cassette. Then you have to have it pulled back towards you. One, because you don't want the stink of waste across your caravan, and 2, you won't be able to remove the cassette without it being pulled back towards you. When the cassette is full, there'll be a red light on there telling you to go and empty. Then lastly, when you do finish up with your caravan and you come to the Swift command panel, first turn off the individual lights and make sure the awning light is turned off as well. And then all you do is press and hold in on this button. It will beep at you and you can see the caravan is now off. Residual bits like the microwave will still show just when you're plugged into mains. That is standard unless you turn on the complete system shutdown button.